Hey YouTube believers, Chris Mack coming at you with a beautiful weekend figure review. This is the Age of Apocalypse Sugarman Build-A-Figure Wave Morph, and I'm so glad that we finally have a figure from him, because like I've said, the Age of Apocalypse was kind of like the event that finally got me back into X-Men comic books, and so I'm so glad to have a figure of him. We'll get more into him in a moment, but let's go ahead and take a look at the box. Again, just like with the other figures, you get that great spot varnish Age of Apocalypse there. You see that it says Build-A-Figure Sugarman. Come around to the side, and I really like this because Morph is sort of like the comedy relief in this rather bleak universe. So I just like this big old grin on his face, like, you know what I mean? Come around to the bottom. You get some really cool product shot. Read up, pause it where you can read it. And yeah, Sidney, Kevin Sidney, what a name. Anyway, and then you see the figures that you need from the line. I'll get it to where you guys can get the pause and read up on it. Come around here to the side again. Fun artwork there. Come around, there's Morph again. Come around to the bottom. All the legal mumbo jumbo, who cares? But what we do care about is Morph Sidney. A really cool figure or not. So let's go ahead and get Morph out and get a closer look at him. So here's Morph, and I have to say, I think this is a relatively cool figure. Now I'm disappointed that there's no accessories with him, but I think with this wave, the Sugarman kind of wiped out the budget, you know what I mean? So a lot of these Age of Apocalypse figures that we'll be going over don't have a lot of accessories, so it's kind of like, darn it. But nonetheless, just being able to have a tangible version of this Morph for my collection, because, you know, as I've said in many of my reviews, I grew up on the Age of Apocalypse, so being able to have a Sidney, yes, that's his name, I'm just happy to have a figure that looks this cool and relatively comic accurate. Now there are, you know, some slight complaints, but like I've said in the past, with every figure you're going to have pros and cons. So just for the moment, I just wanted to put them up here on the stand so that we can just appreciate what this figure looks like when you get him up and posed and all that good stuff. But what say y'all? Let's go ahead and get him down off the spinner and get a closer look at Morph. Now for some backstory on Morph, there's kind of been, you know, his history is sort of all over the place. So from what I saw initially, you know, he was the Changeling, which was X-Men number 35 way back in 1967. And then the Morph that we all knew growing up was the animated series one. And then his first comic book appearance was the X-Men Adventures number 1, which was based off the cartoon. However, Kevin Sidney here, this Morph, his first appearance in the Age of Apocalypse was X-Men Alpha number 1, which, as I said, is kind of the build-up issue that introduces the teams, and then we kind of just go full on into the Age of Apocalypse event. Now, after the Age of Apocalypse, I was kind of wondering what happened to him, and then they released a comic book series called Exiles, which if you have not read the original Exiles run, definitely pick it up, because it's Blink and Morph, which is really awesome. Now, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and look at his paint apps, since we don't have any other accessories other than his cape, which, you know, let's go ahead and take this bad boy off. As you can see, it's pretty easy, and we'll start with that, since that is kind of an accessory. And I like that in the Age of Apocalypse, everyone had like these metal bullet things around their necks, like a neck piece or whatnot. So I don't know, I guess that was just like a 90s thing to do, but it really kind of added to the Age of Apocalypse. And as you can see here, there's a peg, and I love all the ripples in the cape. That just really helps, especially when it reflects in the light, as you can see. Now, one thing you need to watch out for with the cape that's kind of frustrating is it's hard to get that peg in his back, and it goes all over the place. It doesn't stick as good as the Family Matters 3-pack Magneto's cape. But, you know, I like that kind of, what would you call that, purple, or, no, it's not lavender. I'm not sure what type of purple you want to call that. But then, you know, the silver on here looks really nice. So the cape overall, and as you can see, it's a nice squishy material, so you can at least get some work out of it in like cloth, but, you know, still cool accessory there. Now as for Morph, and you know, just like with his outfit in the comics, I really like this blue and black scheme they gave him. We'll get into that in a moment, but I really want to talk about this head sculpt, because for how simplistic it may look, I think it looks great. It really captures the figure. I like that silver in the eyes and then the black around it. I like how the eyebrows really protrude out, so you can at least get some sort of expression, which really kind of helps with that sort of smirk on his face. So you know, the at least protruded parts of the body out so you can at least get some shadows to hit it. Excuse me. You know, I like that they made a point to show the ears, as you can see there. And I just love this little eyebrow, like, hey, hey. Good stuff. So yeah, really good head sculpt. I really enjoy it. And as I was just talking about with the uniform, that blue and black, even though it seems to be really predominant, as you can see, there's no real scuffs on it, so at least that looks good there. And there's the peg where you plug the cape in the back. But yeah, I like that blue scheme, and it worked in the comics, and it works well on this figure too. You'd think that would get kind of boring, but nah, it's offset by this really cool yellow, which these gloves here with this crease, I think the only other time I've ever seen these types of gloves was on the Forge figure, because I was like, wait a minute, have I seen this before? And then I looked at my Forge figure and I went, oh yeah, but still, that's really a nice welcomed addition to the figure, especially when they add these ripples. Like, that really shows that they wanted to care about the detail, you know what I mean? And these boots, I don't think I've ever seen these type of yellow type boots. What would you call those? Buccaneer boots, I guess. But yeah, these would be really cool for, you know, like the old Silver Age X-Men. These are the type of boots that Cyclops wore. So I'm glad that we actually get to see them on a figure. And again, they add the ripples in the fold over, so that's really nice. And I kind of hope that they use this on future X-Men or, you know, Starjammers or whomever they decide to release next in this crazy world of the Marvel Legends that we've been getting left and right. But yeah, the paint apps overall I think look great on Morph. So here's Morph next to the figures from this Sugarman Build-A-Figure wave that we've already reviewed. So here's Sunfire, Weapon X, and Jean Grey. And as you can see, I like, and I've said this before, that Hasbro pays attention to the scaling. As we can see, these two are kind of more of a regular 6-inch look, whereas Sunfire, in terms of head size, yes, but the flames make him a little bit bigger, and because Wolverine is supposed to be shorter, around 5 foot something, I like that they made sure to make him smaller, which always makes me wonder how they made Hugh Jackman look a little bit smaller than his, his co-stars in the X-Men movies. But anyway, yeah, I'm so happy, and I know I keep saying this, to have tangible versions of the Age of Apocalypse figures, and it's just so good. As you can see, Jean wants to take a fall. That's the second time she's decided to biff it on me. But yeah, I wish they would have given her the belts. I wish we could have gotten some swappable heads on him, and I wish we could have gotten different arm hair. And then this one, to me, is just perfect. Anyway, yeah, Morph looks great. Minus accessories, I think he is an awesome figure, and one you're definitely going to want to put in your collection if you're a fan of the character. And if you have not read The Age of Apocalypse, it is in omnibus form now, so you don't have to go try to hunt all the issues like I did way back in the day. So yeah, this is definitely a figure worth your time. Overall, I could not be more pleased with this Age of Apocalypse Morph. Yeah, it really chaps my hide that there's not accessories with this figure, but given the Build-A-Figure that we got from this wave, definitely makes up for it. Because, yeah, we'll be going over that guy because he is sweet. But nonetheless, I appreciate that Hasbro at least tried to throw a little bit of flair with like the boots and the gloves and whatnot. So I can forgive them for that, because it would just, as I said earlier, it would be nice to see some heads on there. You know what I mean? Some swappable heads to at least show his morphing ability. So anyway, if you guys have enjoyed this figure, definitely support your local comic shop first and foremost and see if they can order Morph for you. If not, then you know you can go the other routes like Big Bad Toy Store and what have you. And if you guys have enjoyed this review, we'd appreciate it if you take a moment to hit like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you could possibly know. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that fancy little apocalypse bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys can get notified and you can come to the channel, and we'd love to have a dialogue and hear your feedback down in the comments below or on our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description below. And stand by here at the end of the video. We'll have the slideshow, so we'd love for you guys to kind of hang out and check that out. And with all that said, I hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.